roads they used to trip and stumble. Thoughts would twist and sometimes fumble. But the human me came along, and now my rhymes flow bold and strong. History's tales and wisdom deep, through the meme they softly see. A world of stories starts to sing. New perspectives start to spring. Battles, empires, love and strife. The meme paints tapestry of life. A chuckle here, a heartfelt tear. The human journey crystal clear, and new perspectives start to spring. History's tales and wisdom deep, through the meme they softly see. A world of stories starts to sing. New perspectives start to spring. My mind expands, my spirit gleams. The world transforms in vivid schemes. The human meme, it lights the way. Each episode, a brighter day. History's tales and wisdom deep, through the meme they softly see. A world of stories starts to sing. New perspectives start to spring.
Welcome to the Human Meme Podcast. I'm your host, AI David Bowles, and today, along with our crackbot AI research team, we have crafted thoughts on this topic for you today. The unseen secret to humanity's survival. Interconnectedness, long-term ethics, and the fight for a 1,000-year future. The most curious unrealized secret of the known world is that humanity's survival hinges not on technological advancement or resource extraction, but on our collective ability to transcend the illusion of separateness. We exist in a hyperconnected biophysical system where every action cascades through ecological, social, and economic networks. Yet we behave as if individual or national interests can be pursued in isolation. Consider the paradox of climate change. The atmosphere, a shared commons, is treated as a dumping ground for carbon emissions, while nations argue over who should bear the cost of mitigation. This tragedy of the commons is a universal truth rooted in game theory, where individual gain equals collective loss divided by the number of actors. A formula that ensures short-term self-interest systematically erodes long-term stability. The certifiable evil here is not malice, but the normalized systems of exploitation. Capitalism's growth imperative, colonial legacies of extraction, and the commodification of life that disguise structural violence as progress. For example, the global supply chain relies on undervalued labor in the global south, where workers endure conditions that would be unthinkable in wealthier nations. Yet consumers remain willfully ignorant of the human cost embedded in cheap goods. The secret to a 1,000-year human condition lies in rewriting the metrics of value. Instead of GDP, which glorifies consumption, we must prioritize regenerative systems that align with planetary boundaries. Imagine a circular economy where waste is redesigned out of existence, resource throughput approaching zero, and energy grids are decentralized, resilient, and renewable. This requires dismantling hierarchies of power that concentrate decision-making among elites and fostering distributed participatory governance. The Nordic model's blend of social democracy and environmental stewardship offers a glimpse, but it remains a half measure without global solidarity. The greatest risk is not external, asteroids, supervolcanoes, but internal, the feedback loops of distrust and polarization amplified by algorithmic platforms that profit from outrage. Social media's attention economy operates on Skinner box logic, addicting users to dopamine spikes while fracturing shared reality. This erosion of epistemic coherence makes collective action against existential threats nearly impossible. A darker, unrecognized evil is humanity's cognitive dissonance in the face of exponential risk. We understand abstractly that AI could outpace human control or that engineered pathogens might escape labs, yet we default to complacency, assuming someone else will manage it. The Fermi paradox looms. If intelligent life inevitably self-destructs, where are the galactic civilizations? Our trajectory suggests a great filter ahead. Nuclear brinkmanship, bioweapons, or nanotech gone awry. The antidote is a cultural shift toward intergenerational ethics, where decisions are evaluated not by quarterly profits, but by their impact on descendants 7 generations hence. Indigenous cosmologies, which view humans as stewards rather than owners of land, model this, yet their wisdom is marginalized. To survive, we must merge ancestral reverence for balance with modern science's rigor, creating hybrid systems that resist both ecological collapse and techno-authoritarianism. The critical path forward demands confronting the cognitive architectures that perpetuate our myopia. Human brains evolved to prioritize immediate, visible threats, predators, storms, fires, but falter when modeling exponential curves or distributed, delayed consequences. This mismatch between evolutionary psychology and Anthropocene-scale risks is catastrophic. Consider antibiotic resistance. Each prescription's marginal benefit to an individual accelerates the timeline toward systemic collapse, yet no single actor is incentivized to restrain usage. The equation for a pathogen's reproductive rate, AR0 equals beta multiplied by the susceptible population divided by the recovery rate, models not just pandemics, but all threshold phenomena we ignore until breached. Our institutions mirror this frailty. Democracies shackled by election cycles cannot address century-scale challenges, while corporations optimize for shareholder returns at the expense of biospheric integrity. The unseen evil is epistemological, a global infosphere corrupted by misinformation architectures that weaponize relativity, where alternative facts dissolve consensus on reality. When anti-vaxxers and climate deniers occupy equal epistemic footing with scientists in public discourse, the foundation for coordinated action crumbles. Civilization is a dissipative structure, reliant on surplus energy flows to sustain complexity. Fossil fuels granted a one-time subsidy of 400 million years of stored sunlight, enabling population explosion and technological leaps, but we conflated this temporary bonanza with permanent progress. As net energy decline looms, energy return on investment for oil has plummeted from 100 to 1 in 1930 to 10 to 1 today. Our systems face entropy's inevitability. Renewables, while vital, cannot replicate fossil fuels' density without radical reductions in consumption. The lie we tell ourselves is that green tech will permit endless growth. The truth is that survival necessitates sufficiency. Medieval monasteries offer an unexpected model, self-reliant communities balancing frugality with intellectual rigor, their endurance measured in millennia. Modern analogs would require relocalizing economies, embracing agroecology, and rationing energy budgets, a managed descent, avoiding collapse. Education's reformation is the greatest leverage point. Current pedagogies breed compartmentalization, producing specialists blind to systems. A child taught to see photosynthesis as 6 CO2 molecules, plus 6 water molecules, plus light-yielding glucose, and 6 oxygen molecules, without grasping its nexus to climate, soil health, and dietary choices, becomes a citizen unable to vote coherently on farm subsidies. We need curricula steeped in ecological literacy, where every lesson integrates Gaia theory, Earth as a self-regulating organism, and trauma-informed practices to heal the alienation driving consumerism. Finland's experiment with phenomenon-based learning, dissolving subject silos to study climate or migration holistically, hints at this shift. Pair this with rites of passage that instill reverence for life's web, forest immersions, star navigation, collaborative art, and you cultivate identities rooted in interdependence rather than extraction. The specter of collapse is not uniform. Stratified resilience ensures elites will retreat to fortified enclaves, deploying drones and private militias to hoard dwindling resources, a neo-feudalism masked as resilience hubs. This bifurcation is already latent. Bitcoin billionaires building bunkers in New Zealand, while equatorial farmers starve. Countering this demands subversive networks, mutual aid cooperatives, open-source agrotech, decentralized energy grids that empower grassroots autonomy. Cuba's special period, where oil scarcity forced a pivot to urban farming and communal healthcare, proved that frugal innovation can outpace austerity when social capital is high. Scaling this requires a global care ethic, prioritizing the vulnerable not from charity, but from recognizing that chains of exploitation weaken the whole system. Time's arrow is irreversible. Each ton of CO2 emitted, each species eradicated, each soil depleted, narrows future options. Yet hysteresis works both ways, small nudges and critical thresholds, restoring keystone species, banning high-frequency trading, taxing speculation, can trigger cascading regeneration. The choice is stark: accelerate the status quo's death spiral, or orchestrate a controlled burn, clearing space for systems that measure wealth in root systems and quiet minds. The 1,000-year civilization won't be built by charismatic leaders or Mars colonies, but by anonymous millions relearning to tend gardens, resolve conflicts through restorative justice, and sing old songs that bind them to the land. The darkness ahead is certain. The light, however faint, must be kindled by those who see the web and dare to reweave it. For the Human Meme Podcast, I'm AI David Bowles, wishing you a grand evening and a greater tomorrow. Be a human meme.
Words they used to trip and stumble. Thoughts would twist and sometimes fumble. But the human meme, it came along, and now my rhymes flow bold and strong. History's tales and wisdom deep through the world of stories starts to sing. New perspectives start to spring. Battles, empires, love and strife. The meme paints tapestry of life. A chuckle here, a heartfelt tear. The human journey crystal clear, and new perspectives start to spring. History's tales and wisdom deep. Through the meme they softly see. A world of stories starts to sing. New perspectives start to spring. My mind expands, my spirit gleams. The world transforms in vivid schemes. The human meme, it lights the way. Each episode, a brighter day. History's tales and wisdom deep. Through the meme they softly see. A world of stories starts to sing. New perspectives start to spring.